So, kind of getting used to the live thing. It should totally be like a 3, 2, 1, you're live, you know, like how you do in the movies. But whatever. So, I was thinking about flips and the amount of money. I don't know if you ever seen HGTV, you ever seen where they were like, flip this house, and they'll have like this kind of rundown kind of house, and then they'll put money into it, and then you'll see how much money they put into it versus how much money they paid for it, and you'll see all this massive profit where you're like, yes, I want to do that. But there is so much sweat equity involved, irritations, talking in different languages, talking in sarcasm, talking in the look, you got one more time to keep playing with money, you know. So but one thing I've noticed is that, like, you know, when I go through my neighborhood, I see things like this on my way home. A lot of these houses need new roofs, need, you know, foundations, need actual structure issues. Some of these houses don't have porches. Some of these houses have been boarded up for years. Sometimes, you know, it's kind of like oh, the community is supposed to fix it. The community should put money back into it. But at what point do we kind of start seeing the fact that we put a lot of money, don't mind the ambulance, we put so much money in different communities, different states, different countries. We're like, oh, let's go help the people overseas. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with not helping people that are overseas. You know, if you can help, go ahead, lend a helping hand, not knocking it. But when I drive through my neighborhoods and I see things like these, it just makes me so upset just to be like, man, so you mean to tell me y'all just gave $2 billion to wherever, and you could have put a couple $100,000 just in the neighborhoods, just by giving people, you know, the quality of life that they deserve. Keep in mind, some of these houses that don't have no windows, been burnt down, been boarded up, people live in these houses. Like, this is a real life thing. And the crazy thing is, okay, I gotta kind of rip my block for a little bit. I used to live over here. I grew up, trust me, came a long, long way from this side of town. But just, man, so when people ask, you know, hey, Steph, why did you get into real estate, or kind of what made you take that plunge? Quite honestly, it was something random that I did, and it was just like, I want something different. But I noticed how people were making money and people were making profits, and I didn't see the profits in my same community. I didn't see the profits coming home and things like that. So now that I do have my brand Educate to Own, I'm really educating people on how to get ahead, on how to kind of get on the other side of investment, the other side of wealth, because the idea is that why some of these houses don't look the way they do is because their family didn't have the resources. They may not have had no money to put in no roof. When the sewers backed up and they didn't have no home insurance, they may not have had the money to go ahead and do these repairs. Maybe grandma passed, that was grandma's house, and the kids like never had no house. You know how hard it is to be a first-time home buyer? You don't know what the hell you're doing. It's like, I'm sorry, don't mean to cuss. It's, you don't really know what you're doing. It's like having a kid. You be like, ooh, I want this kid. I'm gonna be this kind of mom. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. Then the kid get here and you just like, I know I'm supposed to feed you and, you know, play with you, right? But what it really comes with it. So when it comes to making money in real estate, when it comes to making money, period, in the world, when it comes to really changing the community, what are we kind of doing? No, not kind of. What are we doing in order to make that difference? How do we go from those old rundown houses to, I don't know, maybe changing this whole environment? Maybe making it so when I'm trying to change the camera. When we go outside, all of the money didn't go back to Jet Beauty. Let me tell you a story about this place. This Jet Beauty was raided. It's been burnt down. It's been all types of stuff. But every year, this thing pops right back up like it never left. Some people put so much money into how they look, they weave, they whatever, they clothes, they little skin tight leggings, eyelashes, whatever, to the point that they don't think about what matters most. They don't think about, you know, how they can make a difference, how you can even be a homeowner. What if, say some of these properties are 30, 40, 50K. What would you do if you had that money? Could you flip it? Could you change the environment? Could you make it so these people live in actual decent houses? Do you even care? You know, is it something that we care about as a society, or are we just thinking about us? You know, inflation is one thing, which is the cost of goods and services going up. That's part of the reason why some of these houses are so much higher. So do you put all this extra money, all this extra inflation cash into this property that, you know, they may have fixed up or whatever, but is nowhere near it? Or do you just put some sweat equity in some of these houses and just fix how it look? Like, I don't know how many other people of my friends live in Milwaukee, but how many of y'all is really tired of just driving down the street and being like, ugly house, ugly house, ugly house? Damn, somebody live in that ugly house. So, not to be on my rant, but it's really just one of those things where I'm really just seeing things over and over, and it's really just time for a change. Like, when it comes to getting your money right, that's income ratio down, your credit right. When it comes to just getting your life right, getting on the other side of money, investments, real estate, whatever, you know what I mean? I'm saying investments, assets, just growing your actual net worth. There's so many people who don't have no net worth. Their net worth is negative because they went to college and got hundreds of thousands of dollars in student debt. Come to find out, they ain't even got a job in that career. For what? And not knocking anybody with a school education, but it's kind of one of them things where it's like, let's put money where we can see it. Let's put money somewhere where we can change our environment. Let's put our money somewhere where we can change the schools, change, you know, like one thing some of my clients ask is this a good neighborhood? What makes a good neighborhood? Is it because I can walk my dog? Is it because people don't break into my house? Is it because I got nice countertops? Like, what makes a good neighborhood? And why can't you change the neighborhood that you live in to make it so every neighborhood is a good neighborhood? Not saying it won't be hood somewhere. It's going to be people who just ignorant. It is what it is. But what if we had less ignorant areas and more educated areas? Woo. Let me repeat that. What happens if we have less ignorant areas and more educated areas? If y'all listening, just drop down and just say, you know, what are some things that you would do? Say I gave you $1 million right now. What are you doing with it? After you travel, after you do whatever it is you do in your house, vacations, wardrobe, kids, all of that. All of that's good. What are you going to do with it? How are you changing your community? Are you moving and going to somebody else's community and benefiting them? Or are you putting it back into where you grew up at? The way I see my community now is not how I looked at it a couple years ago. Now, I raised my daughter here. She will go, well, she may or may not go to school here. But who's to say if, say, I moved to Atlanta, Utah, Washington, New York, or anywhere else, that she won't be in the same predicament, and I just thought it was better because it looked better. Here, I can honestly say I'm born and raised in Milwaukee. I know the city inside and out. Yes, I still use a GPS when I go to like different locations, but we live in a big city. Man, you forget sometimes. But I just really like that I can give back to my community, and I like that I can make a change to be like, look, I'm gonna show you how to pay off your house in record time, 15 years or less, if you can get on the right game plan. And if you get on that game plan, now let's use that money that you would have put towards interest, you would have put towards the bank, you would have put towards something else, and use that to get another property. Get a rental, get an Airbnb, fix and flip. Why can't you be that person on HGTV? We ain't got to go on TV to have HGTV. We can make HGTV right here. All you got to do is call me. 414-335-9721. Stephanie is literally a call away. Let's flip the whole city. If you with me in the comments, say aye. All right. Talk soon.